A man fighting for life after being set alight in a Christmas Eve attack. Major flooding and damage across Queensland as Cyclone Tasha crosses the coast. A Queensland stunner in Sydney with plenty of food, fun and festivities. And thousands flock to church services here and overseas.
This is 7 News with Chris Reason.
Good evening. A Sydney man is tonight fighting for life in hospital after a vicious Christmas Eve attack inside his own home. He was set on fire after answering a knock at the door. His elderly mother and granddaughter were both in the house at the time.
It was just after lunchtime yesterday behind this door, now dusted for fingerprints. 61-year-old Sam Saini answered a knock at his Blacktown Road home and let in a man. It's understood they talked in the kitchen, there was an argument and Sam was set alight. His elderly mother put out the flames while the attacker fled. Also home at the time, Sam's 11-year-old granddaughter.
It's scary considering it happened next door. I was home with my kids. And last night going to bed, I double-checked all my doors.
Knowing Sam, why would somebody want to do something like that to him?
Neighbours know him as a friendly grandfather who's lived here almost 30 years, gives help to foreign students. His wife recently passed away.
They're just always, hi boys, and he's always got his grandkids over, and his wife was so sweet.
Sam suffered third-degree burns to his upper body. Police still haven't been able to speak to him. His injuries were so severe he was brought here to Concord Hospital for specialist burns treatment. He's in a critical but stable condition. His recovery is expected to take some time. Police are hunting a man of Indian appearance, dark complexion with short curly hair, possibly wearing a long-sleeved shirt.
For someone to walk in, must be someone they know.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Paul Caddock, 7 News.
An elderly man has been killed in a car crash after colliding with a police vehicle in the state's Central West. The officer was on his way to another incident when he ran into the man at an intersection in Bathurst. The driver was taken to hospital but pronounced dead on arrival. A critical incident investigation is underway. A toddler is in a stable condition in hospital after being pulled from a backyard swimming pool in Sydney's northwest this morning. Ambulance and care flight officers were called to the home on Windsor Road shortly before 10 a.m. after the 2-year-old's parents found the little boy unconscious in the water. Paramedics managed to revive him. He's now in intensive care at Westmead Hospital. Christmas has been put on hold in parts of North Queensland after Cyclone Tasha roared through the region this morning. Packing winds of more than 100 kilometres an hour, the Category 1 storm washed away cars and left some homes in ruins.
Tasha developed overnight and roared across the coast south of Cairns around 5:30 this morning.
It looks like the winds are picking up again now. Ho, 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 what a Merry Christmas, like hell.
With the strong winds came a torrential downpour.
Well, Christmas lunch is ruined now.
The Bruce Highway was soon underwater. Despite the warnings, this P-plate had tried to make it across, but soon found himself caught in the torrent. As his car was washed into the churning water, nervous police could only watch.
The speed swept off the floodway.
The car was swept into nearby sugarcane. Somehow the driver managed to climb out, swimming back against the current before a bystander helped him to safety.
I wouldn't have done it. We normally swim it, but not drive it.
Laurie Porter's house at Mission Beach withstood Cyclone Larry, but not Tasha.
Just a big bang, a big bang.
His roof rocketed off.
Then somebody turned the light on. I looked up, there was just plenty of light.
It blasted 200 metres into a paddock, but the 78-year-old isn't letting that ruin Christmas.
He looked after me and up there,
Parts of the region have received 320 millimetres of rain in just 24 hours. And while the cyclone's now been downgraded to a tropical low, officials have warned the danger is far from over.
Heavy rain will continue for the next 2 or 3 days at least as this system moves down into the Central Highlands and further south.
In Mackay, strong winds ripped up roofs and knocked down signs. And as if that wasn't enough for emergency crews, this coal train came off the rails just south of the city. Power's been cut to thousands of homes, but many residents say they're not worried.
Not much of a cyclone, more of a storm.
They do breed them tough in North Queensland. Andrew Lund, 7 News.
And remnants of Queensland's heavy rain and flooding have pushed into parts of New South Wales' north coast. The town of Ballynudgel, just north of Byron Bay, has been inundated after receiving more than 100 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. The SES has declared a flood watch on the Brunswick River and the Wilsons River, which runs through Lismore. Sydney made the most, though, of a spectacular summer's day as families gathered to celebrate Christmas. Whether it was a quiet lunch at home or festive cheer down at the beach, it was certainly a very merry occasion.
Munched carrots could only mean Santa and his reindeer had been there. Stockings were full, wrapping was ripped open in seconds. After doing his deliveries throughout the night, Santa dropped in at the Children's Hospital at Westmead.
Merry Christmas, Andrew.
Sick kids need extra cheer at this time of year. At Sydney Children's Hospital, the Wiggles work some magic. The Marriotts reckon they got the best gift of all, a baby girl born just before 5 this morning.
Christmas is about bringing people together from all different walks of life. Here at the Wayside Chapel, every year they hold a special lunch to make sure nobody misses out on today's celebration.
Instead of sitting at home feeling lonely and miserable, you come here and feel miserable. And we just kind of, put it all together, and the end result is community and happiness, and it's a very happy crowd.
Yep.
After turkeys being gobbled and tummies are full, it's not a Sydney Christmas without a swim at the beach. Santas and Speedos patrolled Bondi.
We've got all the commodities of a regular Christmas down here on the beach. We even have our own Christmas tree.
British backpackers were meant to be missing home, but that's pretty hard when the weather's this good.
It's fantastic. Love it.
Pippa Gardner, 7 News.
The religious significance of the day wasn't lost either, with a resurgence in church attendance across Sydney. Thousands of people filled services across the city to hear the simple message of hope and love.
A dazzling light show helped draw the faithful, and many stayed up late to ring in Christmas with midnight mass. Across Sydney, church services reinforced traditional Christian values.
The Gospel of the Lord.
At St Andrew's Anglican Cathedral, the focus was on the spirit of hope.
Christmas is the celebration of the birth of the one, the God who is with us.
It was a slightly different tune at Hillsong.
And that today we can look at you and say, Christ, Jesus is the Lord.
But still the same Christmas song. It was standing room only in sections of St Mary's as thousands flocked to hear the message of love.
In Mary's newly born Son, the hopes and fears of all the years are met.
It's been a big year for the faithful.
The Catholic Church highlighted the huge public response to the canonisation of Mary MacKillop as a sign many Australians still respect Christianity.
I think it certainly helped. Yes, it was wonderful, the response of non-Catholic Australia.
Geraldine Nordfeld, 7 News.
Christmas also marks one of those rare moments which bring together our political leaders. This year, Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott both issued Christmas messages urging Australians to remember the sacrifice of our troops overseas.
After an extraordinary year in politics,
the opposition's come here today to have a temper tantrum.
You cannot save a bad government.
Our leaders laid down their arms in the spirit of Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I wish above all else a very happy and a safe Christmas.
The Prime Minister told the nation of her official Christmas duties.
I always get to peel the potatoes and carrots.
And reflected on the past 12 months. Her highlight, the rain.
We shouldn't forget the most wonderful thing that happened this year. The drought broke.
Rain which could break many farmers.
It's never easy on the land, and I know that now it's flooding, which is making life hard in many places, even today.
Another uneasy topic, our lost soldiers from the war in Afghanistan.
I know every Australian has a special thought for their partners and children, their families and their mates this Christmas. we don't forget.
A sentiment that Tony Abbott shares, asking us to spare a thought for those who serve over Christmas.
They do a good job, and we should think of them at Christmas time.
Julia Gillard has promised next year will be a year of decisions. Tony Abbott has reaffirmed his commitment to hold the government to account. Either way, we can be sure that 2011 will kick off with fireworks. Lauren Dubois, 7 News.
Christmas is a particularly tough time for Australian soldiers serving abroad. But despite being far away from home and loved ones, our troops are still sharing in the festive spirit. They'll enjoy a traditional lunch with all the trimmings and a few beers with their mates.
Just like to wish all my family and friends a very Merry Christmas and a safe New Year.
I'd like to say a quick g'day and Merry Christmas to all my friends and family back in Sydney, and a Merry Christmas to everyone in Australia who gets to see this.
I'd like to say hi to my family in Sydney, and especially to my girlfriend Beck, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the new year.
More than 3,500 Australian Defence Force personnel are currently deployed on operations overseas and in Australia. The Pope has led a traditional Christmas Eve Mass at the Vatican, praying for world peace. Elsewhere across freezing Europe, thousands are spending Christmas trapped in airports, with heavy snow creating more travel chaos.
At a packed St Peter's Basilica, Pope Benedict XVI ushered in Christmas with evening Mass in front of thousands of faithful, delivering a traditional prayer of peace. Earlier, the Pontiff recorded a special message to the English-speaking world via BBC Radio.
I want you to know that I keep all of you very much in my prayers during this holiday season.
The Queen chose the chapel at London's Hampton Court Palace to record her Christmas broadcast, focusing on the importance of sport in building strong communities.
In the parks of towns and cities and on village greens up and down the country, countless thousands of people every week give up their time to participate in sport and exercise of all sorts.
At some of Europe's airports, though, there's little festive cheer. Heavy snowfalls have left thousands stranded at Paris's Charles de Gaulle. Extreme cold has also closed most of the airspace over Belgium and Germany. Richard Broughton and his wife have been trying to get back to the US for days.
Our kids are over there, all the rest of the family are there.
Yeah.
But not us this time.
But glimmers of Christmas hope as some made it home, among them this children's choir, arriving at Heathrow with time for one last hymn. Simon Robson, 7 News.
Still to come, we'll tell you how to beat the crowds at tomorrow's Boxing Day sales. Also, on a wing and a prayer, the house made of an airplane.